So after over 3 years of training consistently, I've realized that getting jacked is actually quite simple, and it only comes down to only these three things, which I'm gonna share with you in this video, right? Anyways, when you get into fitness, you must probably realize something. It's really confusing because, bro, when you get into fitness, you're trying to learn more, like how to get jacked, how to build muscle, how to lose fat. There's lots of things, right? But you realize that it's really confusing because there's lots of advice and then there's conflicting advice. So you don't know what to actually follow, and you end up following some advice that's actually wrong, and you end up wasting time. Some people might give up, some people might keep going, and it gets confusing, right? But in this video, I'm gonna share with you three things that are actually gonna get you jacked, right? So, bro, without wasting any more time, let's start. The first thing, the training, right? You gotta train properly, right? And I'm gonna show you how. But one thing about the training is that the training always remains the same. Cutting, bulking, the training always remains the same, right? So, what are the rules for training? Number one is to train till failure every single set. The intensity must be high, right? Failure every single set. Number two, the volume. Volume, yes, volume. Volume is basically the amount of sets you do. You have to be doing enough sets for each muscle per week for it to actually grow, right? If you're a beginner, you don't really have to really focus on this much. But as you get advanced, you have to really like dial in with your volume, right? Because if you do low volume, you might not grow, right? You gotta really focus on the volume. And now, how many sets do you actually need for a muscle to grow and everything, right? You need 9 sets to more, right? You can start with 9, experiment with 9 and increase as you progress and all, right? But 9 to more, right? That's a sweet spot, right? Don't go under 9 because you don't want to risk it, right? Especially as you get more advanced, you gotta really dial in with your volume. So how does 9 sets actually look like? It's pretty simple. For example, for chest, you're gonna do 3 exercises for chest, 3 sets, 3 sets, 3 sets. And if you know math, 3 multiplied by 3 is 9. And yeah, so you do the same for every single muscle. For example, for your biceps, right? You do 3 exercises throughout the whole week, 3 sets, 3 sets, 3 sets. And that's 9 sets. So you do this for every single muscle, and that's the intensity and volume. So you train to failure every single set of those sets, and you do enough volume, and that's the first two. And then here comes the tricky part, right? Which is progressive overload. Yeah, I know progressive overload, but no, you gotta do it properly. Number one, you have to have like a proper rep range. My personal rep range is 8 to 15 reps. Yeah, it's kind of a lot, but it does work, right? Except for legs. For legs, do 8 to 12, right? Because like 15 for legs, like cardio at that point, right? Anyways, how does 8 to 15 work? You start with a weight that you can do 8 reps in, okay? Every week, try to increase your reps. 9, 10, each week, like every time you do that certain exercise, let's say 5 kilogram bicep curls, you start doing 8. Next week, 9. Next session, 10, until you hit 15 reps on the 5 kilogram dumbbell bicep curl. After you hit 15 reps, the next session, increase the weight to 7.5. And you'll find yourself being able to do 8, 9. Repeat the whole cycle until you hit 15 reps again and increase the weight. You see? This is how progressive overload actually works, and this is how you apply it. You keep increasing your reps until you hit the end of the rep range, then you increase the weight, and you find yourself at the start of the rep range. And you keep repeating all of this thing to keep gaining strength and muscle, right? And lastly, for the training, it's like a tip, right? Never ever sacrifice your form to get more reps or anything. Never use momentum. Always prioritize your form, even if you're doing less weight. Because what matters is that you're training properly. Because, bro, if you're training whatever form, whatever, you can get injured. And you're not gonna be progressively overloading properly. So, bro, master your form and never sacrifice your form for more reps. Because, for example, let's say you're doing barbell bicep curls, right? You start using momentum and you start swinging the weight and everything. When you start swinging the weight at the end, you're using less weight so you can curl it. So you're not getting strong, you're just using momentum. So, bro, focus and dial in your form, right? So, bro, that's the first thing, the training. And this is how you do it properly. And remember that the training always remains the same, right? And then after training comes one thing, which is bulking. I'm sorry, bro, but the truth is, to get jacked, you gotta bulk. Because, bro, nobody's just, jacked by himself. No. Doesn't just you don't just get jacked by training. No. You get jacked by bulking. Because, bro, every person that's shredded, how does he get to that point? He gets to that point after having enough muscle and then losing the fat. If you right now start training and just, try to lose fat right now, of course you lose fat and everything, but you will not look shredded. Especially if you're not like fat. Right? Because for fat people it's kind of different because if you're really like, actually fat, obviously cut. But if you're not really fat, you're kind of skinny fat or kind of skinny, don't try to lean down or get shredded. No, you gotta bulk to build the muscle, right? And you also might be also fat. Okay, lose the fat and everything, and you might end up skinny fat. So after you end up skinny fat, you don't have like that crazy amount of fat. You can go on a bulk. And now, on a bulk. How does a bulk actually work? Like, how do you do it properly? Because, bro, you probably have like some negative beliefs about bulking, but bulking is quite simple, honestly. Okay, the way you're gonna do it is that you're gonna bulk, lean bulk. Yes, you heard me right. So, how do you do it? When it comes to lean bulking, you're gonna be eating a little bit more to the point that you're gaining 1 to 2 kilograms a month, 2 to 4 pounds a month. Not too much, yeah, but like 2 to 4 pounds a month, 1 to 2 kilograms for the whole month, right? That you're gaining, right? And you stick to the bulk for a couple of months. Yes, not 2 weeks, a couple of months, right? While training and everything, applying everything that's said in the training. With time, you find yourself gaining muscle and everything, gaining strength and all. But with lean bulking and just bulking in general, gaining fat is inevitable. So you're gonna gain some fat, right? But focus. The goal is to gain muscle, not to worry about the fat and looking defined in the jawline. No, no. The current goal is to get and gain muscle, right? So after you go been bulking for a good time, right? 6 months or something, 3 months or something, you find yourself that you put on some good amount of muscle, right? And then after that, you're kind of, fluffy. So what do? You do the third thing, which is to cut, to lean down, right? And how do you do it? You just basically, your overall food, lower it. You don't have to cut out carbs, you don't have to cut out sugars, no. Just lower your overall food, right? And for bulking and cutting, always keep protein high. And that's it. It's literally that simple to getting jacked. Focus on your training properly, okay? Bulk so you can build the muscle. That's your gaining phase of the muscle. Because, bro, how does someone who's jacked looked? They have muscle and they're also lean, right? So they bulked and they cut, right? So train properly, bulk, then cut. And bulk and cut, repeat them until you reach your dream physique and get jacked, right? And bro, if you want to get jacked and you want me to personally help you, DM me on Instagram. And that's it. Whoosh.